Bharat Pankania is a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School. Good to see you, and it's great news that the vaccination programme has finally started. However, there are clearly going to be challenges with such a massive rollout, not least because of the way this vaccine has to be stored. There's going to be problems getting it into care homes and clinics, GP clinics, in various places across the country. Do you think those problems will be resolved?
Yes, I expect the problems to be resolved, but I have even better news for our viewers and listeners, which is today the Oxford University AstraZeneca group produced very, very good results of their vaccine. And as a result of their vaccine, I assume, which will be shortly licensed as well, I expect that hurdle that you mentioned of giving the difficult to give Pfizer vaccine to be overcome at a stroke.
Yeah, because this Oxford University vaccine, which we're expecting and hoping will be available very shortly, is easier to transport, easier to store. So how much difference is that going to make to the overall vaccination programme?
It's going to make a huge difference to planet Earth, because the Oxford group AstraZeneca vaccine can be made very, very quickly all over the world, transported easily, transported to distant places, and given very easily. And therefore, it is really good for mankind to have the Pfizer vaccine without a doubt, and the Moderna one, and of course the AstraZeneca one, which is easier to give. And we mustn't forget that the vaccines produced by Russia, China, Japan, they're awaiting license. So I see a several platform of vaccines becoming available, and therefore, as quickly as we can, we start immunizing across the globe.
So it's great news that we are going to have several vaccines to choose from. However, what can you say to make that more palatable to people who may feel that they're a bit nervous and they want to wait and see that everything's okay before they have their vaccines?
Yeah, it's good to be concerned, because these are new inventions and people will invariably be concerned about safety, efficacy, and long-term side effects. And what I would say to our viewers and listeners is, look, these things are meticulously tried and then independently verified about their efficacy, their safety, and furthermore, after the vaccine has been given, we also follow up a large group of people to find out if there are any unusual, unexpected side effects. So there is a lot of monitoring that happens. And then finally, you also go back to fundamental basics and you sort of ask yourself, well, what does this vaccine do? And if you look at the mRNA vaccines or the AstraZeneca Oxford ones, the Russian one is similar. They all do only one thing, which is ask your body's cells to make the spike protein, no more, no less. And therefore, again, you can feel reasonably rest assured that this is not going to harm me, damage my DNA, or do any other interfering things with my body. And that's the way to take the people with you.
Of course, we can't let our guard down just because there is now a vaccine available. It's going to take some time to have an impact. There are some signs, though, that the UK could be at the peak of the pandemic's second wave. Do you agree with that?
Well, unfortunately, I noticed that whilst it may be at the peak, I can't say it is game over, because our case numbers are rising. And therefore, also we need to be very cautious with the relaxation of the restrictions over the Christmas period. So one thing that we must all do is not drop our guard. And what we do is we look at the arrival of the vaccines as an additional, very good layer of protection. We continue with all the other layers of protection, the washing of the hands, the wearing of the mask properly, avoiding crowded places, avoiding indoor crowded places with poor ventilation. And then we've got one beautiful extra nice layer of protection, the vaccine. We practice all of them.
Dr. Bharat Pankania, thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you.
Let's go live.